Good morning all and welcome to Coffee Walk. This is the Scrambler edition. So grab your hot coffee and your scrambled eggs and come with me, and we're going to go through a quick history of the Jeep Scrambler. Which is my favorite marque, it always has been. They started building the Scrambler in 1981. Ended production in 1985 with 27,000 units. Well, fortunately today in the shop we have one of every model, in that they made 3 models. And come on back, let me show you. This first one we have here is a 1984 Scrambler. In 1984 they made about 4,000 of them. So you do the quick math, that is incredibly rare for the whole U.S. market. But out of those 4,000, a minimum of 20% were exported, so it only left 3,200 for the entire U.S. market. So this is a base model, which was just called a Scrambler. The way you can tell that is it has no decal kit on it. It has no moldings on the bottom. And if you look at the interior, it does not have what they call a gauge cluster surround panel, which is a black piece, which kind of finishes them out. But it's also, this is the S model only steering wheel, which is hard plastic, which I'll show you the other steering wheels in a minute. This particular Jeep has 26,000 original miles, no rust, super straight. It's a great find. This is also something you rarely see. Most of these are missing or people didn't get it, but this is actually a factory rear Scrambler bumper. And one of the hardest pieces to find when you're restoring one of these are these bumper end caps. If you happen to have a set of these end caps laying around, let me know. Hit me up at social@CBJeep.com. This was a good option Jeep. There was only 2 powertrain options as far as motors in the 81 to 85. So you could either get a 4.2 liter 258 6-cylinder or the base model motor, which is a 151. Early on, it was an Iron Duke motor, and then they had a later revision of the 4-cylinder, which is basically 2 cylinders lopped off of a 258. Now this one has had one modification, in that it's got a Weber carburetor on it instead of the factory carburetor. It's a power steering Jeep, and the 4-speed that's in this Jeep is a T176. Now the way you can tell what kind of 4-speed you have is, in 1984 there was only 2. If you look at this shifter, the stick is straight. So this would be a T176, which is the heavy-duty transmission, which somebody ordered. This Jeep also has tilt wheel, which is a nice option. And it has a factory AM radio. And the reason I bring that up is the radios in these Jeeps were very expensive. An AM radio was $232, an AM FM radio was $258. That was a ton of money back in the day. This interior is also a rare color. You had to order it. It's garnet red interior, garnet red seats. These are high back seats. Everything on a Jeep when you ordered one was an option. You couldn't assume it. You had to check the box. So they had to order the hardtop and doors. Something else is really unique on this low mileage one is these safety tabs right here. Some people also call them warranty tabs. And you had a seal back here behind the seat belt, which is a round seal, which shows me that this top has never been off of this Jeep. So when they came in for warranty, they were leaking or had problems or issues or whatever. Generally, if the tops had been off of them, it would have avoided the warranty as far as leaking went. So from here, we're going to go on and look at an SR Scrambler. So SR stands for Scrambler Renegade. This Jeep has been sitting outside in Texas sun so long, the stripes are completely burnt off of it, but it would have a set of really nice stripes, which we'll show you a picture of that. But just walking up to the Jeep, I could tell it's a Renegade Scrambler in the fact that it has the rocker moldings. And you can kind of see some of the old stripes in this. Also, on the Renegades, they basically came with these white wagon wheels, or you could special order an upgrade to a chrome wheel, which I'll show you those in a minute. These are not the proper wood side rails. Somebody has remade them, but they would have come with wood side rails. Then if you look at the steering wheel is different. This is called a sure grip wheel. The 3 spokes are different, the horn button's different, the wheel itself is different. And this Jeep has AC. Now the color code of this Jeep is deep night blue. This is a 1982, which they made about 7,000 of them in 1982. Nicely optioned Jeep. It does run and drive. It is a 6-cylinder. What's interesting is this is the last year on the CJ that they actually used a smog pump. And and it's still intact on this Jeep. So if you walk up to a Scrambler, you see a smog pump on it like this, it's either going to be a 1981 or 82, which also is very unusual to see on this, is this blue valve cover. These blue valve covers were recalled. It's odd to see when it should have a black valve cover on it if it had ever been in for service. And then the final iteration and the most expensive of all the Scramblers was a Laredo Scrambler. It had a very detailed stripe kit. As you can see, this particular Jeep, the color is Jamaican beige. They had chrome or stainless hood latches, chrome grille cover. This Jeep should have a chrome front bumper, chrome wheels, chrome mirrors. Part of the stripe kit on the hard top and hard doors had this inlay on the doors. But walking out, the door panels were a lot more ornate. They had a leather grab bar, leather steering wheel, which was a soft grip but leather wrapped steering wheel. This particular Jeep has air conditioning in it. Now this thing isn't 100% correct, but it still is a real Laredo Scrambler. The Laredos also came with a factory tack and clock. Let me show you, that's pretty cool. Now here's the chrome rear bumper I was referring to. And as you notice, it's missing the end caps, which they commonly are. Very hard to find, and they're not in reproduction. But the Laredos all came with a factory tack and clock. Now, as far as production-wise goes, this is an 82 also. It's one of about 7,000. We take 20% out of those for export. That was 5,600. And then only 20% of those 5,600 Jeeps were Laredos. A loaded up Laredo Scrambler cost as much as a Corvette, so they were very expensive. The Laredo package itself added $2,850 to the price of the Jeep. Now I'm going to show you a rough Scrambler, but it has a very rare option. Jeep never made a factory full-length hardtop. There were two companies that made them. It was either Acme or Grizzly, so it's rare to find one. We actually bought this Jeep just for the parts. This was in beginning in life, a Laredo Scrambler. So it's got the rocker moldings, which these are extremely rare and extremely hard to find. So if somebody wanted to turn a base model Jeep into a Renegade, you would need those. Obviously, it's got the hard doors on it. It's got a tilt wheel, leather steering wheel. If you see also the horn button on the Laredo steering wheel is also different. So you had three different horn buttons. You had the base, you had the Renegade style, you had the Laredo style. And this Jeep also has the extremely rare AM/FM radio still in it. You know, like I said, those were $258 back in the day. T5 transmission, so this will be a great parts Jeep. So we got a T5 transmission, a Dana 300, factory tack and clock, and a complete AC unit. The reason we're parting this out is because the frame is rusty and the body's rusty, but we have to sacrifice some of these because some of these parts are not available new, so we need them used. It's very complete under the hood. Even though the body's rusty, the hood is not. And to find an OE hood, which is much better quality than aftermarket reproductions, is very rare. We've got a full power brake setup, power steering setup, 100% AC setup, and a good motor for a core. So this Jeep just came in, and we'll be breaking it down for parts next week. So if you need any parts for your Scrambler, we literally have every part there is for the 81 to 85 Scrambler. If we don't have it new, we have it used. The last Scrambler I want to show you is in the body shop. Come with me. So this is a 1985 Scrambler, charcoal gray metallic. The last year for the US production. They only made 2,015 of those Jeeps. Like I said, at least 20% of them are exported, so you're down around 1,600. I believe there's less than 585s known to exist, and maybe less than that. This is a really good rust-free one that came in, and we're doing a full cosmetic restoration on it. So extremely rare to find a 1985 Scrambler. That was also the only time that they actually said Scrambler or Laredo on the hood. This is a nice option one. If you know where a 1985 Scrambler is, let us know. Now come with me, I want to show you some really rare parts, one that's on the trailer, one in the wrecking yard. So we've got a Scrambler body tub that's been in a warehouse in Louisiana since the late 1980s. The floors are excellent in it. It's got a little bit of damage to that panel, but that's an easy panel to replace. The places you always want to look at these things for rust are the rear panel, where the roll bars mount, this ledge right here, which is called the traverse ledge, the front floors. These are all excellent. It sounds like I'm excited to find this. I am. You just cannot find an original paint, rust-free Scrambler body tub, but we've got one here on the trailer. And many of the Scramblers out there are rusted beyond repair. We should be able to save one with this body tub. We have some other tubs in the wrecking yard you can actually see over there. There's a black Scrambler tub on top of the container. There's a red Scrambler tub on top of the container. I'm going to bring you to the back and show you one other really rare Scrambler part. So this stack of frames right here is a mixture of CJ7 and CJ8. So if you need a solid Texas frame, original paint, with no rust or rot in it, other than flash rust, we've got them in stock. These wheels right here were the base wheels that would have come on a base Scrambler. The first Scrambler I showed you inside had aftermarket wheels on it, or a base Scrambler could have also come with white wagon wheels. But what I'm showing you here is a Scrambler frame. This is a local Scrambler that had less than 30,000 original miles, had a 4-cylinder in it. So this frame is in excellent shape. All it has is flash rust on it, no rust, no scaly rust. Probably one of the best Scrambler frames we've ever had in. We brought this Jeep in because we had 2 Scramblers in for restoration. Both customers wanted Concours OE panels on their Jeeps. So we actually parted out an incredibly nice, like 28,000 mile 4-cylinder Scrambler to accomplish those 2 restorations. We've got one thing left. I got a Holy Grail CJ7 for you to see, so if you can just hang on a minute, let's go back in the shop. All right, here it is, a Holy Grail CJ7. For you collectors out there, I've been doing this for 35 years. We've had a number of the Topaz Gold Jamborees in. I've never personally seen a 9B Olympic white one myself. I've seen pictures of them, I know they exist. There are several experts out there on Jamboree. You can go to jamboregistry.com to read the entire history, but it's believed there's only about 70 of these built. Now, the highest known Jamboree built was 729 until relatively recently. So this is a 9B Olympic white, real Jamboree, and the number, build number on this Jeep, which you can see on the dash, is number 751. When we were doing the Topaz Gold Jamboree restoration, I reached out and said, hey, does anybody know where a white Jamboree is that I could buy? Well, it was crickets. After about 6 or 8 weeks, a guy called me and said, I have what I believe to be the very last Jamboree ever built, and it's white. I was like, wow, can you send me some pictures? He did. What also was really special about this Jeep, right off the bat, is when he sent me the pictures, when you see a CJ that's got a serpentine belt drive like this, that means the Jeep was ordered and delivered new in California because it had different emissions. Now this Jeep's had some upgrades over the years, so it's not totally stock, but what we have here is an original paint, white Jamboree, which is the rarest one, and it's super highly optioned. It's got power steering, power brakes, and AC. Now AC is really significant because you couldn't order AC on a Jamboree until after production number 450. This also has got hardtop and doors, which we believe the hardtop was added, but I think it's a great addition because the only way to get this top with gold tint would have been on Laredo, or if you special ordered the gold tint, it would have come with the Jamboree, because as you know, the Jamborees have got the Laredo seats with the gold trim in them. These seats need to be redone, but they're here. The back seat looks to still be in reasonable condition. So we have here what I believe to be the last Jamboree ever built. We can't confirm that. One higher than 751 might pop up one of these days. And the highest option one built. So we've got power steering, power brakes, AC, hard top, hard doors, T5 5-speed, tilt. Of course, tacking the clock was part of the package. The chrome wheels were part of the package. And the chrome front bumper was part of the package. So there you go. The quick history on Jeep Scramblers and a Holy Grail Jamboree. Thanks for watching. Please like, tag, share, and follow. Enjoy your coffee.